Welcome back to my channel. I am Katie. Please show me some love if you like my videos, and let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. Today we are going to do an alcohol ink stripe split tumbler. That's what we'll call it. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and map out our cup. We're going to draw a circle for the top. I put a T on there to label it top. We will draw a circle around the bottom. It'll look like a kindergarten student did it because, well, that's just how I roll. Look at that lump. Bloop. A B for bottom. Go ahead and set that off to the side, top and bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and get her cut out. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to find the center of our cup. To do that, I'm going to fold each one of the circles we cut out in half. Then I'm just going to slide the bottom piece right underneath the bottom and kind of line it up on the edges so that it's all the way underneath so I can get an idea of where my center is. I'm going to do the same thing with the top. The best I can, I'm just going to try to line it up with the edges. I'm going to take my ruler, line up my corners, and then I'm going to draw a line straight up and down. Repeat that on both sides so that I have my straight edge for my split. I'm sure there's either way to do this, but this is the way that works for me. I'm a visual person, I'm a hands-on person, and this just works for me. Okay, we're done with our little circles. Now we're going to go ahead and take our painter's tape and we are going to line up our tape with our pencil lines. I'm going to go ahead and flip my cup over and I'm going to use the bottom of it to line up my lines. That way I get it nice and straight across the bottom. All right, push that down so it's nice and smooth. Line it up on the other side and put it all the way up. Oh, looky, I cut my piece too short. Isn't that flippin' fabulous? So we're going to get a longer piece now, and we will try again. I'm going to line it up on the bottom, and then I will put it along the side all the way to the top and hope my piece is long enough so I don't have to piece it in and make my line crooked, because that's totally what would have happened. All right, got her all there. Push her down nice and hard. Make sure you have a good stick. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of erase some of my lines that I have up there where I was drawing my circles around. Depending on what color you're using, if you're using a dark glitter or whatnot, your lines will be covered. But if you're going to use a light colored glitter or you're going to be using ink or anything else, you want to make sure to erase those lines or they will show through. Check it over. Oh, look, still pencil line. Erase the pencil line. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Still erasing. I should have just fast forwarded this part. Okay, so I think I have it all erased now. Let's see, let's take a look. Oh, yeah, I think we're okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some pieces of tape and I'm going to, because I already have it, I already wasted it, so I might as well use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my cup. But I'm going to take this stuff. This is just the backing to some vinyl I had. So I want to protect this side. So I'm cutting this piece out and I'm just going to tape it onto that side to protect it from my inks running into that side. And voila. All right, on to our next section. I am using 91% rubbing alcohol and I am going to be using this image. So I want to choose a bunch of alcohol inks that are going to match that well. or the best I can do anyways. So that's all we're going to be doing through this next couple minutes. I will spare you and I will fast forward. I am putting each color into some little medicine cups. I have the little cup of alcohol just to rinse my brush out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I have my brush ready and I'm dipping it in my first color, and I am just going to let it drag along the cup at the top, and I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over until I'm happy. I've seen most people use this technique with a drill. I think that would be way better because this turner is somewhat slow and I am all over the place with my lines, which is kind of okay because I wanted more kind of an artsy look versus, you know, precise lines. So I'm definitely getting more wavy and whatnot lines doing it this way on my turner. I'm also trying to do it at kind of a weird angle I wouldn't normally do because for the purpose of this video. So this was very time consuming doing it with my turner because it did go so slowly and I was only doing half of the cup, so it just seemed to take a super long time. But the end product was totally worth it. So as you can see here, I'm just going to keep dipping my brush in my color and letting it go around and around, and no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going through it. So I'm going to go ahead and spare you the slow motion stuff, and I will go ahead and fast forward. All right, at this point I have decided to go ahead and go back through with some colors and kind of go over and blend them in a little bit more together. So I'm basically going to go over the whole thing again with some colors. Alright, I completely forgot to record this next part. So what I did was I took some Easy Tack it over and over, and brushed it onto my inks. Then I applied some Mistress Cheat, some Shattered Glass, also a cheat, and some Chunky Touch of Gold, also a cheat. These are all from It's Pretty Personal. I just sprinkled them on however I felt like it. And then after I had all three of them on the thickness that I wanted, I went ahead and sealed it with some polycuric. The clear gloss is what I like to use. I just drizzle it on with my finger, simple, and then just pat it in. I don't rub a lot because I didn't want to clump up my glitter because this is the only way I'm sealing it. So I'm just going to kind of go ahead and pat it all over and smooth it out, lightly, you know, stroking it with my hand to get as much of it covered as I can. All right, I'm going to wait for this to dry and I will be right back. All right, so after I took off my protective cover I had on there, I realized we had some bleeding from our alcohol inks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it off with a little bit of acetone. And as you can see here, I went a little too much and I took off some of my white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tape off with painter's tape over my inks and glitter that I have sealed with the polycuric. I'm going to tape along the edges there and make sure I have it covered real well. And I'm going to take this out and spray paint that side white again.
We did see.
All right, we're going to split this white section here down because I'm going to put this image on here. So I'm going to have a white background here and I'm going to put this down to right about there. Put my tape up here so I can I'm just going to eyeball it first and then I will measure it to see how close I am here. Okay. Have my little handy dandy fabric, just over 3 inches. And just over 3 inches. Holy crap, I made a straight line. I am impressed. Okay, so I'm gonna cover this area up top with some tape or saran wrap or something, whatever I grab. And then I'm gonna go outside and I'm going to spray this yellow. All right, our base, not our base. We are spray painted yellow down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap everything just to kind of get a fresh start. And the tape I had over the glitter part that we sealed with the polycuric on the other side is not epoxied or anything, so I really don't want this tape sitting on there too awful long. All right, so I'm just gonna carefully take that off and hopefully, yeah, it's all staying. Good deal. Okay, get my hair off of there. That stuff tries to find everything I do and stick. All right, so we have our white and our yellow, and we are going to glitter those two sections in those matching colors, white and yellow. So for the white, I am going to use Angel Wings All Glitter by It's Pretty Personal. This is my favorite glitter. And I am also using the Cherish line Peep Show for my yellow. I am using Tack It Over and Over that I have mixed with 50% water, 50% glue. This is my preferred adhesive instead of Mod Podge or anything. If I'm using a glue, this is what I use. So I am just going to carefully glue in the areas I am going to glitter. Tack It is a lot like Mod Podge, so you want to make sure that you don't leave a lot of extremely noticeable streaks, or you could see them. So I'm just being careful along this edge here so I don't get too much in there. All right, and gonna go up all the way to the top, make sure I have good coverage, all the way to the bottom. I am going to do the bottom half yellow. So glitter that, get my edges nice and good. And then this side along the very edge. All right, that should be pretty flippin' good. All right, and now for my favorite part is always the glittering because it's so pretty. All right, we will put our lid on our glue so we don't get glitter in there. Set my brush to the side for cleanup. And time for a glitter. I'm gonna go ahead and do my yellow first. And I'm just gonna ever so carefully, because I don't have any of this taped off, I'm going to put a strip of vinyl in between the two. So I'm just gonna very, very carefully try to stay where my line is. So I'll start a little bit lower so I don't get... Because Angel Wings is a Cherish line and so is Peep Show, even if I do get up a little bit too high, I don't think it's going to be any kind of a dire emergency or anything like that because it'll kind of blend a little bit. Same with this side, just get along the edges and then ever so lightly get up to my line up there. All right, now I'm going to take this off and get the bottom. And I'm not going to be too worried about being very careful with the bottom. So there we have the bottom, and here we have the yellow. I did get just a little bit up there on my white, but that's okay. It's not really going to matter. My white or my vinyl stripes will probably cover that anyways. So we'll get this put back in my bottle. All right, now for angel wings. This stuff is amazing. So we'll start over here, and I'm not going to worry about being very careful here. Just going to dump her on. Just brushing it off here where it kind of fell onto my other glitter because that is sealed, so. All right, so there we have, let's turn you this way a little bit so you can see how many, look at all those colors it picks up. It is so pretty. So that's our angel wings and our Peep Show Cherish line. I don't think that one you can get anymore. And then this is our back side. So on to the next phase, which will be sealing this, and then we will epoxy. Well, I did it again. I forgot to record. So basically, here is our cup with epoxy. And if you don't know how to epoxy a cup, I'm sure you will see me do it over and over and over and over and over again. All right, here we are ready to apply our water slides. I'm going to go ahead and trim this one so that it is close to the color, so I have as minimal edges as I can possibly get. I do seal my water slides with Plasti-Dip, and then I seal it with Rust-Oleum 2x Clear. If you're unsure about how to use water slides, make sure you check out my how to apply water slides video. So this is just going to go over that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this and go to the application process. All right, for this part, I start with my image facing up. Once the edges curl, I flip it upside down. I let it sit there for just a second, flip it back over so it's facing upwards, and then I let it soak for about 60 seconds. All right, once you are able to simply slide your water slide like so, it means you are ready. Our next step is I'm going to go ahead and dip that back in and apply it to my cup, just setting it on there to get water on there so that we are able to move our water slide. You want a little bit of water on your cup before you just stick your water slide on there. I will often use a silicone makeup brush, but for this I am going to use the backing to the water slide. It's slimy on the one slide that it slid off of. It's all slippery. So we're going to use that basically as our squeegee. We're going to start in the middle and work our way out to the edges, and you just keep going over that with a little pressure, not too much so you don't want to rip your water slides, but using the Plasti Dip, it allows us to have a little bit of manipulation with the water slide. It'll stretch a little bit without tearing. Once I am satisfied with that, I just take a little bit of a paper towel and I just get it barely damp, and I go ahead and go over it again just to make sure that I have a nice smooth surface. All the edges are flat. I don't have any bubbles or creases or anything like that. All right, our clear water slide is now applied, and check out, you can see all that glitter underneath. That's the beauty of clear water slide, is you're able to see all of the sparkle from underneath of it. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the quote I have typed out onto the bottom. This is also on clear water slide. All right, our water slide is ready to apply, and now we are just going to slide this on and repeat the process. We will use the backing for our squeegee, starting from the middle and working our way out. You're going to go ahead and clean up the top rim. I am going to be using a Dremel with a flapper wheel on it. I am also going to lightly sand the bottom of my cup, and I'm also going to sand where my lines are going to go with vinyl to make sure we have a nice smooth surface. They feel pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and sand just to make sure. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to go along my rim at an angle to trim off the bigger pieces of glitter that I have sticking up here. This side's not as bad because it's not that much glitter, but over here I did a pretty darn good job. Plenty of glitter up here. All right, that feels pretty good. Now I'm just going to take my flapper wheel on my Dremel, and I'm just going to go around the top at a little bit of an angle. Get my edge nice and clean. Make sure you wear some kind of a mask when you do this. You don't want that epoxy dust flying up into your nose. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. Still a little rough right through here, but that's not up on my edge, so I'll just get that little spot with some sandpaper. So grab some sandpaper here. This is just a sheet of 3M 220 that I will rip off a little section of. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go along the edge, and I'm not going on the top, I'm just going along the flat side. Just going to kind of feel it, make sure it feels all right. All right, that feels pretty good. Now that we have that done, I'm just gonna take some paper towels. I'm gonna put some alcohol on it, and we're gonna wipe that up. You do wanna be careful not to get on top of your water slides because this is not sealed in here. It is just applied. I have not done anything else to it. So we're just gonna clean up all of our dust where we're going to apply our vinyl. Our stripes on. So this is just a piece of shelf liner that I'm using to help kind of keep my cup still. I need to get a cup cradle. I keep telling myself that and I just haven't done it. So the first layer I'm doing a double layer stripe. I'm going to do black, and I cut these out with my Cricut. I think my width is like 0.22, I think. I don't know, I just kind of did it till I liked it. So we're just going to do the best we can and apply this stripe I'm gonna have to put it right in front of me so I can see. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and take our stripe and follow it down over the bottom. All right, so there's that one. We'll do the other side next. And same thing. Whoop. I did not mean to let go of that. Okay, try again here. And I do leave just a little bit overlay at the top to, and that I'll trim. See how it's flappy up there? I'll trim that to make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, so we'll just rub that in, make sure I don't have any bubbles in my vinyl. And I'm overlapping quite a bit on the bottom. I'm not gonna worry about that because I do put a decal of my logo on the bottom. All right, so for the middle piece, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my vinyl all the way over the top of this so it overlaps just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and then I will cut so that it's not flush, so that it just overlaps just a little bit so I don't end up with a little tiny gap on accident. All right, get my last little piece here. And, oh, come on, quit rolling. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see, whoops, if I've got it straight enough or not. Actually, I think I'm going to go down just a hair. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Go ahead and smash that baby down, and I'll take my fingernail and I'll make a little crease where the edges meet, and then I will cut just a hair above where my vertical lines are going. All right, one side down, one to go. Okay. We now have our black stripes. Just kind of making sure everything is good and adhered well. So there's our black stripes. I am going to take a little bit more alcohol just because I kind of have some dust floating around. I don't normally sand in this work area. I usually like to do it outside so that I don't get dust and stuff in my workspace, but I didn't feel like taking my camera and everything outside. So I'm just going over my stripe with some rubbing alcohol just to kind of clean that dust off of there one more time. All right, now we are going to be using this holographic yellowy orange flashy vinyl, and I have these stripes. I have no idea what size I made them. I just overlapped them on my Cricut software until I was happy with the look. So we will start, just kind of eyeball it and find our middle.
Here we are ready to trim the top pieces off.
I'm going to trim it just below the top. So it's pretty much even with where I sanded my edges to get a clean edge. All right, there we have it. I will get ready to go seal this. See you in a minute. All right, we are ready to seal our cup. I am using the Polycuric water-based sealer. I use the clear gloss. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a quick stir. All right, so to make sure that we have a level cup, we're going to make sure that our bubble down here is in the center, and it is, so we are good to go. Okay, and I am just going to use a gloved finger. I'm going to dip and just put it on here. And a little bit goes a long ways. It doesn't take a lot. I want to make sure I get over my holographic vinyl really well at the tops and where the vinyls meet, because that tends to lift. Epoxy just does not like the holographic vinyl. That's why I like the sealer, because it really does a good job.
Mom, can I do a snack? It's not alive.
I don't care, Sarah. All right, go over it one more time. Just make sure we got good coverage. And then we will let this dry for probably about 45 minutes or so. Or if I'm not feeling very patient and I want to get right to it, I will stick it in my dryer and I will let it dry in there for about 20 minutes on, let's see, I think I do it on like 130 for 10 minutes or so. It dries pretty quickly, and then I will be ready for epoxy. All right, I had already started to apply my epoxy, so this does have a thin layer on it. I am using Tumbler epoxy, so now I'm just adding another little thin layer over the layer I had already started because I forgot to start my camera. So I'm holding my camera in one hand while epoxying the cup, so I'm sorry if I'm doing a Blair Witch project on you and like making the camera go all kinds of ways and not staying on the cup. So my main thing with the holographic is I like to go around my cup this way a couple times, get it nice and smooth, let it, do its thing while it's spinning for a minute. And then after it's been spinning for a minute, I like to rub my finger back over just the holographic area to get any bubbles off of there. It tends to like to attract bubbles, and the bubbles like to stay on there. So I like to just kind of make sure that I've got a nice smooth area and I pop any bubbles that are on there. And then that is going to be all I do to it until I lightly hit it with my heat. Whoop, look, out of frame. Whoops, sorry. Okay, oh look, I'm back. So anyways, just rubbing it over the holographic, making sure there's no air bubbles in there, and then we will let it spin for about 5 minutes and I will hit it with some heat. Check out this Tumbler epoxy, you guys. This is no heat. This is just rubbing it on with a gloved finger for a minute while it spins a couple times. Just check it out. I just think it's super cool that there's hardly any bubbles in there. What I do have in there, oh look, out of focus, sorry. What I do have in there is gonna pop pretty easily. So, okay, I'll quit yakking and we'll get on with it. All right, I guess I lied. I apparently forgot to take video of me hitting it with heat. So I just used my embossing gun really quickly. I usually let it spin twice while running my embossing gun up and down fairly quickly. I'm sure you will see me do it tons more times. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you create something beautiful. If you like my video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye!